Hello and welcome to Ripple Shuffle and Roll. My name is Mark, and today I'm going to teach you how to play Collapsi Shift. This is an exciting rule variation for the regular game Collapsi, in which the board is going to change during the game. To end your turn, you are going to shift the row or column that you've landed on. So the board will look quite different by the end of the game. This also offers different ways to trap your opponent, or if you're not careful, get yourself stuck and lose the game. With all that said, let's dive in and learn how to play. And here we have the setup for Collapsi Shift. It's a 4x4 grid using the same deck as the regular 4x4 game of Collapsi. For setup, you will shuffle the deck and deal out the cards to form the grid. The first jack revealed belongs to player 1. The second jack revealed belongs to player 2. All of the rules for movement are the same. The only thing that changes for Collapsi Shift is how a turn ends. So, on a player's first turn, their starting card, they are allowed to move 1. So red can move to any adjacent tile or card. And of course, if your starting card is on the edge, you are allowed to wrap around. So red is going to go ahead and move to 3, and they are going to collapse their card. Now, everything has been the same as classic Collapsi, except now we're going to see how a turn ends. When a player has finished their move, they end their turn by shifting the column or the row they are in by 1 card. So every card in that column or row will shift 1 space. So red could shift this whole column here, or they could shift the row that they're in. And for this example, let's go ahead and have them shift the row. And that ends red's turn. Now it is blue's turn. They may move 1 from their starting card. We will have blue move over here. Collapse the card you leave from. And then you end your turn by shifting the row or column you're in. Blue is going to shift its column. And that ends blue's turn. It's red's turn now. Red must move 3. 1, 2, 3. Collapse the card you leave from and shift. Red's going to shift this column up. Now it is blue's turn. Blue must move 1, and blue will do that by flipping this card here. And they're going to shift this column up. So blue's turn is over. Red must move 1 space. Their only option is to here with the 4 of spades. And, they will shift down 1. Now it is blue's turn, and blue has to move 4. I don't think blue can do it. So 1, 2, nope. There's no wrapping down to here. They can only move 1. There's nowhere for blue to go. So blue is trapped. Red is the last player able to move. Red wins the game. Now that you understand the basics of gameplay, I would like to talk a little bit more about how the board works as it shifts. Because as you could see, we get gaps, we get shorter columns, shorter rows. So how does this work? Well, really the only 2 things you need to know is how to deal with column or row that is shorter, and how to deal with gaps that form in the middle of a row or a column. So let's start by looking at wrapping around the edges and how that's affected. So in a shorter column, so let's bring blue over here onto the 4. When a column or a row becomes shorter, wrapping still works the same. We have 2 edge cards here on this column, a 3 and a 4, and you can wrap. So I could wrap blue around here, 1, 2, 3, 4, like so. That is perfectly legal. The same goes for a shorter column that's inside. So yes, this column is shorter, but it still has two edge cards, an ace and an ace. So blue could wrap around, boom, like that. Now, just to give you plenty of examples here, if we come over here to this three of diamonds, blue can wrap. So 1, 2, and hey, blue can wrap again from ace to that 2, 3. And then if we look at this row down here, we have two edge cards, a 3 and a 4. They're open, so blue could wrap. 1, 2, 3. Now, what about gaps? So we saw that this column was still wrappable, but what if we look at these gaps in the rows? Well, when you're looking at each row, we can see that these gaps are essentially like collapsed cards, right? We have a gap in the middle of this row. Red cannot cross the gap. However, red can still wrap around. 1, 2, like that. So let's move red over here, and we could see some wild movement that takes place here. We could wrap 1, 2, 3, 4. One more thing I want to make sure I cover is how shifting works when there's gaps and shorter columns and stuff. So if, let's say, blue landed right here and they want to shift this column, well, we've got a couple gaps. Just pretend that these gaps are collapsed cards. There's something there. You are not bringing cards together. So if blue wanted to shift this column down, each card just moves one space. That's generally just the best way to remember it. Every card only moves one space. If blue ended their turn on that ace, they could shift this entire column down or up 1, or they could move this row of one card to the right or left 1 space. And the same goes for columns or rows that are 2 or 3 cards. Let's say blue ended their turn here. They could move this whole column down 1 or up 1. And I believe that's all the examples you need to see for movement around the board and how to shift. And that's how to play Collapsi Shift. If you have any questions about this game, be sure to let me know down in the comments. I will do my best to answer them. If you'd like to print the rules for this game, there's a link in the description that will take you over to my itch.io page where you can download the rules and keep them for yourself. This video is part of my Toys for Tots fundraiser. My goal is $1,000 by the end of the year raised. We're at 736, I think, and I will be matching up to 1,000. So I'm very excited to do that. Everything you donate goes directly to Toys for Tots, and I think that is a wonderful cause. And we will end the fundraiser at Christmas time. I have more games for you here that you might want to check out on these playlists. I've got a playlist of games of my design, plus some other board games you might like. If you found this video helpful, if you like Collapsi Shift, the best thing you can do is subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, give the video a thumbs up, and leave a comment down below. All of those things really do help me out. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, keep on playing.